I like to start off by you introducing who you are to the people.
Yeah, my name is my real name is Tierno, but people call me Jules. I got a lot of nicknames depending how you know me. Some people call me T, some people call me Jules. I mean, so yeah, that's originally from Guinea, West Africa. Grew up here in New York. Came to America when I was about 9 years old. That explains not really hearing the accent. You may hear it a little bit every now and then. I grew up here. I'm a Brooklyn kid. I partially went to Boys and Girls High School. Then went to Bard High School, early college. Graduated with both my high school diploma and associates. Then went to Clark Atlanta University, where I had my bachelor's in supply chain management. And then I started working in the corporate America. I did about 8 years at State Lauder. I learned a lot, but I decided to go on my own. Went back to Africa, started a logistics company where we were hauling bauxite, which is a mineral that gets refined into aluminum. Mm. So we did that for one of the major mining companies there in Guinea, West Africa. Then I came back here, started dabbling in other things. I don't want to get too deep into that.
I got you. Got you. So, before we really get into it, do you have any social media that the people could reach out if they have a question or?
Yeah, my social media is TSVD. It's just abbreviation of my full name, and people can reach out to me on there.
What platform is that?
That's Instagram.
So say it one more time.
I'm on Instagram and my handle is TSVD.
All right, I got you. So I mean, I hate to like really do the obvious like type questions. Mm-hmm. So I normally don't do that. But these are some of the questions that I always have. Like, and most people that I know that come from Africa, they're not as I don't know. Like, how do you feel about the word Americanized?
It is what it is. If someone is Americanized, that's what they are, and it's just part of assimilating in a new environment. You have to. That's just human nature.
I hear you, but I disagree with that, and the reason why is because you being from Africa, as opposed to some other brothers I know from Africa, act totally different. Like, if you didn't tell me you was from Africa, I wouldn't know the difference between you and me.
Yeah.
Right? The way you move, the way you talk, the way you. So, I mean, that is assimilate. Like, you did assimilate into the culture, right? But why is it almost as if you're deeper into the culture than most others?
Yeah, because I came here pretty young. I came here like I was about 9 years old. That's for one. And I came here at a time where there weren't a lot of people from where I'm from here. I was like one of two African kids in my elementary school. So, and you don't really get to speak to anybody other than Americans and have friends that are Americans. Now, later on, more people migrated from Guinea and other parts of Africa to America. So you start creating these communities in America, or especially in New York, because so now there's different places in different boroughs, and the whole community is from a certain place in Africa. So it's harder for those people to assimilate, and even if they do, you can see the dichotomy in the person much easier than it would be with me, someone like myself.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the biggest differences between people that actually come from Africa as opposed to black people that were born here? What are some of the biggest differences that you see?
I feel as though earlier African Americans and Africans have similar cultures, especially if you look at somebody that lived maybe in the 50s or the 40s or the 60s. We have similar ethics and morals. And for example, African Americans back in the 50s and 60s had a lower divorce rate than anybody in America. So families stayed together longer, and people didn't. They had a different sense of morals back then. Whereas Africans that stayed around much longer, but now because of globalization and the media and social media and so forth, things are changing much faster, and you can see uh, the African culture also dissipating now. Because even somebody in Africa knows what's going on in America, and they try to assimilate also, and they try to copy the culture here.
Yeah,
So there's a change in the culture in itself.
No, I get it. So you spoke about marriage. Maybe this may be a misconception. I'm not sure, but you could clear this up. Polygamy in Africa, is that a thing?
It's not a thing everywhere, but it's a thing that exists. Uh, not not well. Basically, the religion kind of when you're a Muslim, right? The Islamic religion
Is that
kind of influenced certain parts of certain cultures in Africa.
But is that the predominant culture there?
In my country, yes, is the predominant religion. So in Islam, they condone polygamy.
So what do you know? What religion preceded Islam? I mean, in Africa,
it was some form of animism, some form of.
Can you explain that? Because I know a lot of people not gonna understand what that
animism is a belief system that you find in certain places that are not influenced by the major Abrahamic religions, meaning like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So you find much earlier forms of religions, because those are not the only religions that exist in the world, and you also have Hinduism, which is kind of also an animistic kind of religion, because they believe that the spirit of God lives in beings or objects or things like that, so they can reach the creator, or they can represent the creator here on earth through maybe animals or objects or trees or stuff like that. And they believe that, and a lot of them believe that they can. There's a lot of like from when you say voodoo, for example, right? That's a form of an animistic kind of religion that existed in West Africa that now you see parts of Haiti, parts of South America, and other parts of the world. But that's exactly what it is. It's just a belief system that believes that the spirit of God can live in different things, in different objects or animals.
I get it. So coming from because you say at 9, I'm not sure like you was there long enough to really understand like what was going on. So when you went back, when you accepted like normal, like because you were here for so long, you went back. I'm sure you have like mannerisms that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're gonna automatically pinpoint you. They know that you're not from there. You look different. You walk different. You talk different. Your mannerisms, like Americans, we talk a lot with our hands. We talk a lot with a certain swag. So they're gonna pinpoint it out. And I look a certain way. Like everybody was touching me because they felt like I'm a big dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. Compared to them. You know what I'm saying? So they just feel it off of you. They feel. And they can tell if you're from America, if you're from France, if you're from any other place, because the swag is just different from different places around the world.
So what do you think would happen if American black people tried to go back to Africa? Do you think that they would be accepted?
They would be more than accepted, because they love the American culture. Especially because of hip hop. Hip hop did a wonderful job at marketing the American culture and the American way of life. Good and bad, And so, but Africans, especially where I'm from, they all wish they were born here or lived here or experienced America at a certain level, So they would welcome anybody that's from America.
So, what are your thoughts on? This is gonna be touchy. I gotta do it.
Go ahead, man.
Like it's gonna be a little bit controversial, a little bit. I mean,
for sure.
Like what it is so women in Africa seem to because I'm not sure, I don't know, right? But they seem to act a little bit different than women that from here, like black women from here, like women in general from here, right? What would be the main differences between if you had a wife from Africa versus a wife from here, North America?
I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, right? There's pros and cons to having a woman from America or an American woman.
What's the pro?
The pros, I would tell you that the love is much more genuine. I feel this is my personal
From
experience.
America.
Yeah, love is much more genuine. When a woman, she can take you when you ain't got no job. I mean, that's what it used to be. Now it's different. When a woman loves you here, she
In America.
Yeah, from my experience with American women, right?
Can I ask you?
The new generation may be different because it's a different world now. But
no, well, when you say American women, like from what nationality?
I mean, I've dated all sorts of American women. I've dated women from the Caribbean. I've dated, American women, descendants of slaves and stuff like that. I've dated that. I've dated, Puerto Ricans. I've dated Dominicans.
What would you say is the difference in?
The people that are from here, my experience is that when you're dating someone, and they tell you that they love, because I've had women love me when I had nothing.
From here.
From here.
So you're saying that? Wait.
Yeah.
Well, because that begs the question.
Yeah.
If you're saying that, you're saying that if you have a wife from Africa, she's only going to be with you because you have something.
Most of the time, the materialism, it's understandable, right?
It's higher.
It's higher
in Africa.
It's higher because they're gonna tell you, for example, it's in the culture, because back in the day, right, when you want to marry a woman, you gotta come with a certain amount of cows. You gotta pay dowry. Yeah. You gotta show the family that you can take care of this woman and you have enough, and you gotta show that your family is also capable.
But what about the disparity in money? Like, is the money, like, if you're doing all right here, you would be a little bit better off there, right?
Yeah, for sure. But let's say you live there, right? You're a young man of a certain age and you want to get married, right? If you don't have a situation, if you don't have nothing to show for it, the family's gonna be like, no. You know what I'm saying? But here, a woman could be like, no, I love him. Let's go to City Hall. Let's get married. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a very interesting perspective, man. I mean, that kind of blew my mind a little bit. Like, coming from like, wow, that's very interesting.
But again, everything has a nuance, right? It's not like you can't find people in Africa that'll be like, no, like, I'm gonna get married to this person regardless, right? Or like families that don't prioritize material things. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying overall, it's just the culture. That's what it's been. Because again, if you back in the day, it comes from the culture. Like, you're gonna walk you in your village, right? And you want to marry a young woman, you gotta come. She say, "Hey, I have 100 cows as dowry." You know what I'm saying? I have 50 cows, or like, look where I live. I have a house. I have a good job. I have this. I have that. And I'm saying I can give this to her as dowry. You understand?
So you grew up in New York. You've been in New York. So you know, like, I mean, some people would say that New York is the greatest city on earth. Some people would say that. Like, so that means you experience the best of what America has to offer, right? So in comparison, right, to Africa, because for the people that a lot of people never been anywhere. Like, I know 1 million people without a passport, right? So is Africa the way they depict it? Like, as far as how they look at it, like the way that if you look at it in media, they make Africa look like huts and
definitely not.
Like, is there like modern buildings and things like that in Africa?
It depends on where you are. You know what I'm saying? It depends on where you are.
So what are the biggest differences, like, for our city?
Yeah, I mean, you could be in a city of a metropolis where you have like nice buildings, high buildings, and it depends on the culture of that space too. Like, some people don't want high rises, right? Like, if you go to Lagos, for example, or Abuja in Nigeria, you're gonna see some high rises. If you go to South Africa, you're gonna see some high rises. If you go to Ivory Coast, you're gonna see some high rises. You know what I'm saying? But if you go to Senegal, you might not see high rises, but you're gonna see urbanization. You're gonna see modern, things. And actually, Africa is much more advanced in certain aspects of technology than even America.
Give me an example.
Like the whole money transfer thing that we do now with Cash App, Zelle. They've been doing that like 10, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? They've been doing that. they're at the forefront of that, the money transfers. You know what I mean?
How do you think if you had to compare? I mean, this is a very it's a very unfair, messed up comparison, right? Mm-hmm. But how would you compare colonization and slavery? Like, far as how would you compare them? Like, if you juxtapose colonization and slavery, like, how would you say that? Like, how the negative impacts it had on both cultures?
I mean, it's you know, it's devastating. Both, you know what I mean? It's not. Well, I can't say which, there's none of those two are better. Like, there's no better choice in either or. But you got to understand, like, slavery is the act of coming into a space, taking people against their will, and moving them to a completely foreign space and forcing them into hard labor, right? Whereas colonization is coming into a space and basically imposing your will on the people. You may not force them to work for free, but you're dominating everything about it. Your way of life, you're imposing. You're sometimes even taking away their languages, their educational system, their cultures. You're taking away. You're robbing them of everything, trying to impose your way of life onto them. You know, for a very, very long time, and you're sometimes robbing them of their humanity. You know.
So, what do you think would happen if African, like people from Africa, mm-hmm. and people from America, like black people from both continents, mm-hmm. got together and formed a coalition? Do you think that would be beneficial?
Yeah, I mean,
could it happen?
Like, anytime people with, people try to build something, it's a positive thing, and Americans, it would benefit Americans a lot to go back and try to establish a relationship with their African brethren from the continent, and it would benefit the people in Africa also, because there needs to be a huge mindset change in Africa because of colonization. Africans have developed this dependency mentality, especially of the lighter race, right? Whereas they innately believe that these people are superior, because when you see them on the continent, they treat these people like, you know, and like they don't go to the bathroom, they don't shit. I don't know if I could curse, but they treat them like, I mean, like, I've seen some things in Guinea that completely just crushed me. You know what I mean? I've seen situations I'm like, are you crazy? Like, why would you do this? You know, like, a foreigner, for example, a foreigner would come and have a business, and someone from the country would come as to do business with that person, and there's an argument that happens, and then the third party from that country comes. They don't care who's right or wrong. They just pick the side of the foreigner. Yeah. You understand?
I see that a lot of places I go. I travel. You know what I mean? Lot. I mean, on every continent.
Right, right. So it's like a sense of protecting your own is not really present, because they feel as though this person I can get something more from this person than the other person that's from my country. You know what I'm saying? So that things like that happen all the time. So, and back home, it's like we have to reestablish a sense of worth and a sense of doing for our people, not just for ourselves. It's too tumultuous. It's too crazy. There's too much, instability for anybody to feel secure enough to want to do for the next person. It's a dog eat dog world. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
What is your take on? There's some black people that were born here. Like, I guess they I don't guess they call themselves FBA, Foundational Black Americans, right? And I mean, they have a lot of points. I mean, but what they're saying is that they were here, right? Some of them, I'm not sure if they're all saying it, but I know there's a certain amount of people that believe that they're indigenous to North America, meaning that they never came from Africa.
Right.
Like, what is your take on that?
I mean, like, if they show me the proof, if they show me something that's concrete that tells me that, black people as in this skin color was here before the conquest of America, before the Spaniards came onto this continent, which I believe there were some people, but as far as being natives of this place, you got to show me some proof. I'm not saying they're lying, but you got to show me some proof because I know that the Songhai Empire, everybody hear of Mansa Musa, right?
Yeah.
Mansa Musa wasn't supposed to be the king of the Mandingo Empire, the Mandinka Empire. His older brother was the king, but his older brother had a fascination with what's on the other side of this body of water. So he decided to go on an exploration to find out what's going on. So when he went, he never came back. That's how Mansa Musa came to power.
So we don't even know where he ended up.
Exactly, but there's records indicating they've seen black people on this side of the world when the Spaniards went to the Americas.
So basically, what you're saying is, even if there were black people here already, they still originate from Africa.
That's what I think. But if you have another explanation, if anybody has another explanation, they would have to show me. You know what I mean?
Well,
like you can't
listen, man. If y'all have another, put it in the comments. Do something. I mean, because
I do believe that. Yeah, I do believe that. Like as Homo sapiens, original Homo sapiens,
everybody came from Africa.
Everybody came from Africa, and all these different continents were once all together.
Pangea.
Yeah. So it's a possibility. I'm not denying that there could be a possibility that black people, when the continents drifted apart, that black people, there were some black people, on the American continent. It's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I got you.
But from my understanding,
I thought they came from the Bering Strait. I don't know.
Yeah, from my understanding, Native Americans came through the Bering Strait and ended up in Americas. But that's the books,
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So do women in Africa wear weave?
Yeah.
In Africa, they wear weave.
They do.
Like straight weave?
Yeah. They do.
What are your thoughts on weave?
I mean, I don't like weaves. I like natural hair, but I'm not going to tell a woman what to do and what not to do with her, with her beauty. You know what I'm saying? That's out of my, jurisdiction. But I don't like it. I feel as though our women are beautiful enough. Their hair is beautiful. Now, there's so much you can do with your own hair. But again, colonization and white people they've done a number on us, all over the world. They've marketed a certain image to us, and our women, they bleach their skin. That's a huge problem in Africa. Straighten their hair. It's a huge problem. So it's unfortunate, but that's the reality. But I'm not going. If my woman wants to put it on, hey, listen, baby, do what you gotta do.
Do you believe that some sort of prejudice exists, like whether from African Americans or from Africans, like black people from Africa feel a way towards black people that that come from here and vice versa?
Of course. I mean, it's only natural. It's only natural.
I don't know how that's natural because me and you, I don't like how.
No. I mean, you gotta reach a certain level of enlightenment to understand that that's just a game. Divide and conquer. We're human beings, so we're always playing this game of us against them. So if you have a third party that's making sure that there's us against them, there's gonna be some prejudices that's gonna arise, some separation, or we don't like them, they don't like us. Within Africa, there's tribes that don't like each other. You know what I'm saying?
So that leads me to this question of there were some tribes in Africa that sold slaves to the Europeans.
Yeah.
Like in the how do you how do we rectify that? Because if what is your thoughts on reparations? And if you do believe in reparations, should only America pay reparations?
So I'm gonna start with the first part of that question, which is Africans selling other Africans. We have to put things in context, right? Because we're in 2025 and trying to put a judgment on something that happened a few hundred years ago, right? You got to understand how Africans viewed, the slave trade. Understand? Because the slave trade existed way before white people even started doing slave trade. You know what I mean?
That's why I said war.
Yeah, yeah. So, and there's different reasons for it. And not only war, there's debt. There's servitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could owe me some 100 chickens, and I'm like, you can't pay me. I'm like, now you got to work it off. You know what I'm saying?
100 chickens.
You feel me? So it happened like that. So and then there's war, like you said. You go to war, and I capture some of your people, or you capture some of my people. Now they got to enter into servitude. So now when these white people come, these Africans had no concept of hard labor for your whole life, for generations on end, and they're brainwashing you into believing something completely different. You know what I'm saying? Africans, they had no concept of this. They were like, okay, cool. So I have, 10 people here. You can take them and give me what I need. Give me some guns, right? So that's how they looked at it. Okay, they thought that after a certain amount of time, these people probably gonna, you're gonna let these people go, because that's what happened in their form of slavery. Gotcha. And then in Africa, even under Islam, right? It says that the number one thing you could do as a Muslim is to free a slave. The best thing you could do is to free a slave. And even better than that, to really show that that person is now free, if you have a daughter, let that person marry your daughter. If you have a son, let your son marry that woman. So you see, it's a completely different concept than what happened here in America. You know what I mean? So now, on your second part of your question, in terms of reparations, the Jewish people got reparations from America, and America is not even the perpetrator of what happened to them in Germany. You know what I'm saying? Like they're still getting money. They're still getting like $300 billion. And African Americans are here, stuck in a certain place. I don't believe in reparations in terms of giving people money, but you got to create opportunities, real opportunities for Black people in America, or any people around the world that's oppressed.
How would that look? Like, because a lot of times we speak and we say like opportunities, but how does that look to you? Like, give me an example of an opportunity. Like, I mean, because some people would say things like affirmative action, things like welfare, things like. I mean, I know, but I have to do that. So
it's a whole system. Like a lot of our neighborhoods, right? You see, a lot of our people, a lot of our Black men end up in jail, not because they want to commit crimes, but because they weren't structured. They weren't given a space where they would have the right opportunities. Like, if we started financial literacy very, very young, and we made them understand how they can take advantage of the systems that this country has in place, then you would see a lot less people in jail. If kids knew how to trade at a very young age, I'm saying from the time they're in elementary school and junior high school, they knew what the stock market was. They understood what credit was. They understood a lot of these different things that make America work. You would see less people in gang banging, or ending up shooting up drugs, or doing any of these things.
But what do you say to the people that I guess they say that's their parents' responsibility to make sure that their kids know those things?
Yeah, I think that's where we go wrong, right? That's the difference between the culture here now versus the culture in Africa. It's not just the parent. Every single person.
Village. It takes a village.
Every single person is tethered to the next person. Every single person's actions impacts another action, another person, and another action, and another action. It's a ripple effect.
Every action is an equal vibration.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody impacts everybody. We live in a community. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's. We got to be accountable for the next person's action.
That might be the answer right there.
That is the answer.
Accountable for the next person's.
Like, you got to be like, hey, listen. You know what I mean? Like, I saw your son on the corner, and you need to take him off that corner, or I'm gonna call the cops on him. And if I see you committing crimes, I'm gonna call the cops.
See, but now there's too many. There's too much like individualism. Like we move
exactly.
Individuals.
It's
like,
my life.
I mind my business.
It's my life.
Yeah, my life.
You know what I'm saying?
So you think that's a system that was put in place?
Yeah, of course. We got fed that. If you realize one thing, right? In white people, right? They say white women they go to college for two things: get an education and get a husband. You know what I'm saying? But black women they go to college for what? They got to get education and they get their independence. Mm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? So they're building families while we're building divided homes and so single family homes.
You saying that there's power in a nuclear family?
Of course, it's the only way to succeed, and the numbers show it. The kids that succeed coming from a two parent household versus kids that succeed that come from a single family household, it's the disparity is crazy. You know, you need the man. Like women, like, oh, I don't need no man. Nah, you need a man, especially if you're gonna have a kid by someone. Don't just say I just want to have a kid. No, it's very important to do your homework and have a kid by the right person that's gonna actually create a family. That's how we succeed as black people.
What do you think? Like, what is your take on because we're talking about the nuclear family, and I think one of the key ways that they use to attack that is now social media, right? So, what is your take on the women you deal with? I mean, I get you're married, so you know, like, what do you like your wife in social media? How does that work?
Well, I'm lucky in that aspect. My wife is not really on social. She don't really care for social media. She's on it to just watch it. She just watches what's going on. But in that aspect, I even tell her like, don't spend too much time on here. You know, like just watch it because it puts you in this lull space where you're wasting a lot of time and you're not really developing your mind. You're
not just that, it feeds your cognitive dissonance. Whatever you believe in already,
exactly,
it just
reinforces it.
Yeah.
So like, I advise her on that. You know, like don't spend too much time on it. But
she doesn't post.
She doesn't post. She doesn't post anything.
How would you feel about it if she did?
I mean, it depends on how she's using it. You know, like it all. There's a nuance to everything, right? Anything could be good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, that I've seen some very wholesome pages. I have friends, female friends of mine. They have very wholesome images on Instagram, and they have a big following, all of that. But they portray something wholesome. And if my wife was to do the same thing, I'll be okay with that.
As long as it's wholesome.
It's wholesome. You know, like carry yourself like a lady. You know what I mean? Like you can't be out here looking like a thot.
You scroll on when I scroll, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not my algorithm. When I scroll, I just see people twerking and a bunch of stuff that I'm not interested in.
Because that's what they're trying to, get everybody to feed into. You know, but there's a lot of wholesome pages out there too that actually teach you something or makes you appreciate a certain thing or encourages a nuclear family, encourages, a wholesome lifestyle, being a man of a certain, moral system, being a woman of a certain moral system. So all these pages exist. It's whatever you want to feed yourself, whatever you want to portray.
That's deep, man.
You know?
What I want y'all to do out there is this, right? If y'all like the conversation, right, and what's going on, let me know in the comments, man, because I can bring him back over and over. We can make him a reoccurring. We can make him a partner. Whatever y'all want me to do, let me know, man. He's a very articulate guy, man. He knows a lot. And, this is, normally I talk way more than this, man. But this guy is very interesting. So what we're going to do is this. I want you to lead the people with a jewel. His name is Jewel. That's crazy. Jewel thieves, right? So I want you to lead the people with a jewel. What a jewel is anything that they can use to better themselves, to get some money, to do whatever it is. Like, because it ain't just about money. It's a multitude of things. But give them something that they can use to better themselves.
The number one thing, if I was to leave anybody with, spend some time trying to understand who you are. Know yourself first before anything, and become a disciplined person. And control yourself because you can't control anybody else. That's more than half of the fight. When you're able to control yourself and your vices, we all have vices. Some people have drug vices, some people have alcohol, some people have women, some people have men. But control yourself. Understand yourself. What makes you tick. And make sure your temper is always controlled. Don't let nobody make you jump. When something happens, sit back and think about the best course, the best reasonable, logical course of action. And then from then, you can grow. you can learn. You know.
Look, y'all better take that Jew.